this is an exciting event for us. Actually, we've been working for this for quite some time. Evangelos and Prasad and Stefan, maybe everyone just introduce himself quickly. And
okay, I start.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Sid. I'm like one of the developers at the Nervousnet team.
My name is Pablo. I'm also working in a DIAS project. It's the data challenge that you are going to encounter today.
Hi, my name is Levin, and I'm going to be here to help you with all sorts of iOS development and issues as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Jovan and I will be your facilitator today for the challenge part.
Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm one of the organizers as well and work in the Nervousnet team, and happy to have you following online. Thank you. And especially also to our guests here, clearly.
Hello, I'm Prasad and I basically work as a research assistant and I work more into Android. So if you're working on the Android app, I'll probably be helping you. Thank you.
Okay, hello everybody, I'm Evangelos and I'm a research and development coordinator of the Nervousnet project. I'm really happy to welcome you here today and looking forward to have some really exciting work with you.
And my name is Dirk Kelbing. I'm professor here at ETH Zurich. I've initiated the Future ICT project and also this Nervousnet project, and I care about democracy and informational self-determination, and this is what all of this is about. So, welcome everyone. And in fact, we are starting off here with a screenshot that I've made. There is a Twitter channel called Digital Democracy and happened to come out like this. So I would like to call this event We the People and Our Internet of Things. We have a lot of problems in the world, and these include, for example, financial, economic, and spending crisis, climate change, conflict and war, and in fact also a lack of sustainability. And it has been suggested by many people that big data and artificial intelligence would fix the world, but instead we are actually seeing new data-driven societies, and some of them are quite scary, such as Big Brother societies, like to call it fascism 2.0. It also becomes possible to build communism 2.0, benevolent dictator society, or feudalism 2.0, the big other society. And in fact, we've seen transformation of countries recently in Turkey, in Poland, and also over here in France. And in fact, the United Nations and many people are very much concerned about this. So I have pointed this out with a number of colleagues in this digital manifesto that appeared in Spektrum der Wissenschaft. We are in a situation where information technology is influencing our lives more and more. It's being used to steer our attention, our decisions, and our behavior to some extent. And the keywords are, of course, personalized information, personalized ads, personalized nudging, big nudging. And not only companies are using it, but also governments are using that. And it's time to say, stop. This is not the kind of society we want to live in. If you don't agree, please raise your hand. And this approach will not solve our problems, but there is another approach which is compatible with self-determination, democracy, and free entrepreneurship. Yeah, we should be building a data-based society. Of course, we can use the technology to create a better world, but the question is how to do it in such a way that we don't lose what we built over hundreds of years. And that requires a distributed approach, I believe, and there are other societal models that can now be built. I'd like to characterize them as democracy 2.0 and capitalism 2.0, which would be largely self-organized and self-regulated in a bottom-up way, efficient, flexible, adaptive, and resilient. And there would be entrepreneurial and individual freedoms, high innovation rates, and network interactions would really be key in this future society, of course, a digital society of the future, systemic and ecosystem thinking will be important. And competition combined with cooperation, so-called co-repetition. The keywords are co-creation, co-evolution, and collective intelligence. And in fact, we've started to work on this. Of course, we can't do it all by ourselves. We need to build up a community of people who would do that together with us. And kind of the role models are Linux and also Wikipedia and OpenStreetMap. But this time we're doing the same exercise for the Internet of Things. And Nervousnet is the platform that's trying to offer this to everyone. Now, everyone says data is the new oil. The problem is, where to find the data sources and how to distill the data to get good information and from there good knowledge and maybe wisdom. And one major problem is, of course, data is very uneven in its distribution. Because some companies have a lot of data, but most people don't have much data. And so how should we really make a contribution to this future digital society that's based on data if we don't have any data? And so the idea is we could create this data ourselves for everyone. And how do we do this? We use the Internet of Things, and in particular, our smartphones. Of course, those smartphones have about 15 sensors in them for all sorts of measurements. We usually don't use them, or we're not aware of their use, and we could change that. We could open up those sensors for all sorts of uses. We could connect smartphones to build a global measurement system run by the citizens and measure the world 2.0 all together in a crowdsourced way. But if we do such a thing, it's really important that we build a system that we can trust. We don't want a system that spies on us. We want a system that enables people to take better decisions and make contributions to the solution of the problems that we're faced with. And so it's really important that we're able to control this information system. And therefore, we really take care that you can control everything that is important, including what are the sensors you want to open up or not? And would you use those data just for yourself, say in a smart home application, or would you share these data with others? So the idea is to run the Internet of Things in open space as a citizen web. And what would that be good for? Well, Nervousnet could do a lot of things for us. It can provide real-time measurements, it can support awareness for the situation we're in, the world is in, help to reduce risks, support better decision-making, support science and its progress, but also self-organizing system, collective intelligence. And I want to zoom a little bit into this now. Real-time measurement. Okay, so I said there are 15 sensors in your smartphone. One of them is an acceleration sensor, accelerometer, and the question is, what can you do with it? So first of all, it measures acceleration X, Y, Z direction. Now, if just one of your smartphone shakes, that might not be important, but if all our smartphones would start shaking at the same time, that would probably be an earthquake, and we would want our smartphone to warn our friends and family to get out in a safe place as quickly as they can, right? We can build such a system in principle. We can use our smartphones to map crises and help people to deal with these crises, help themselves, but also inform governments how to help them more effectively. Greater awareness. Yes, now we can actually map resources and to use them, and we start to build an app which is in early state, but you can already use it for some things, including games. It's called Swarm Pals, And what you can do there is basically measure noise or light and geolocate that measurement and make that measurement available to everyone. But you can also place a geolocated text, and that could be a web link. It could be a link to a photograph or to a movie or a sound recording. And so you can imagine that we are now in a position to map the environment around us. That could be the city, but it could also be a forest or an ecosystem, in order to get a better idea of how our forests and our ecosystems are doing and how they're changing over time as a result of climate change and other problems. Now, we can also create compasses for decision makers, compasses that make us aware of things that we can't see, we can't hear, we can't feel, such as social capital. This is very important for our society and also our economy, but it was difficult to measure. Now it becomes possible to measure reputation, trust, solidarity, and all this, and that can raise awareness. So we can see what is wrong, and we can see where the system is broken and fix it. As citizens, we can make contributions to this. Now, even more exciting is actually this possibility to support self-organization of complex dynamical systems. And the trick how to do this is to create the right kind of feedback loops in a system, so the system would create by itself, and like magic, certain kinds of properties or structures or functionalities. And you can apply that, you know, in your company, but also in your city quarter or up to the societal level. The difference is this would be organized in a bottom-up way. There wouldn't be a top-down control of everyone's behavior. So that system allows for creativity and innovation and entrepreneurship, and therefore it's much better. So how to make self-organization work? A complex dynamical systems such as traffic flows, financial systems, our economy, our society, they're difficult to understand, predict, and control, but they have this interesting tendency to self-organize certain kinds of structures, properties, and functions. And this can be understood by complexity science. Now, if we change the interactions between the system components, that will change potentially the structures, properties, and functions. In this way, we can influence what would be the outcome of this self-organization. And economists have been talking about the invisible hand, where we are talking about self-organization. Self-organization doesn't necessarily produce good outcomes. For example, a traffic jam or a crowd disaster is a result of self-organization to some extent, but these are no results that we'd like to have. We've learned, though, in science that by changing the interactions of the system components, we can overcome these problems. So we can dissolve traffic jams on freeways and also reduce traffic jams in cities just by getting the right feedback loops in the system that would change the interactions in a proper way. And how to identify what kind of interactions do we need? Well, this can be done with computer simulation, with experiments, or also in virtual worlds. It could be interactive multiplayer games, and we often talk about exploratories. Now, the platforms to enable this is Nervousnet on the one hand, to create the real-time data needed for this. And in addition, we would need to have a multi-dimensional incentive and value exchange system, something that I sometimes call Finance 4.0. That still needs to be built, so if you have some ideas that might also guide your activities today and tomorrow. So this is a demonstration how it works, right? At the moment, I'm showing you a computer simulation and animation of stop-and-go traffic, as it's annoying us every day. However, now it's possible to equip those vehicles with sensors, such as radar sensors that would measure distances and relative velocities, and that can be used for automatic driving. Right? We've been working on this long before people were talking about Google self-driving cars. Now, you can see that there are a few vehicles that are trying to get on the freeway. That produces small disruptions of the flow on the freeway, and those are amplified and create the stop-and-go traffic. By changing the interactions through automated driving based on local, decentralized interactions, however, we can dissolve that traffic jam, even though the inflow stays the same. This is really amazing. So, by changing the interaction mechanism, you can change the world to the better. And we've done that also for urban traffic flow, where you can create self-organization of green waves, coordination of traffic lights. And the point here is we again change from top-down control by a traffic control center towards something that is based on bottom-up self-organization and coordination. So here, the traffic flows control the traffic lights rather than the other way around, and it creates enormous performance gain. So people would have to wait less. It would be good for all modes of transport and also good for the environment. And we see decentralized control approaches also now in energy systems. The keyword is smart grids. And we see it also in Industry 4.0, where now products can talk to machines to tell them what to do with them, and products can talk to other products, and this way they can coordinate each other. So one could, for example, say, I'm really in a hurry, could you let me overtake, because I need to be delivered very soon. All right, so we're living in a complex world. That's how I started. And no single individual, no matter how smart, no supercomputer is able to understand the full complexity of the world. And so it's important to create collective intelligence, to bring the best ideas and knowledge of many minds together. And that could also include artificial intelligence systems, by the way. Now, the amazing thing about collective intelligence is that not the best individual solution wins, but it turns out that the combination of some solutions, say of the second, third, and third best solution, would be better than the best individual solution. So you can say diversity wins, not the best. We can create more intelligent solutions by bringing these ideas of many people together, and this requires online deliberation platforms where all the arguments are put on a virtual table and can there be organized, and then basically different perspectives can be identified and integrated to come up with much better solutions than a top-down decision or a 50% majority position could produce. And this is basically the way to build digital democracy. And of course we should use big data and artificial intelligence, but we should be in control of these technologies. They shouldn't be controlling us. And so the approach is, again, a bottom-up approach. Digital assistants would help us when we can build them. You might build some today and tomorrow, simple ones in the beginning, but maybe quite sophisticated ones in the near future. So the role model here is basically the route guidance assistant. So you can decide to turn it on or off. You select the goal where you want to go. Then it offers you different options. You choose. Again, you're in control. Then the digital assistant helps you to reach your goal in the most efficient and effective way. And it shouldn't be cheating you if you don't ask it to do that, right? Now, reputation systems are one kind of digital assistant that can help us to increase the quality of social interaction and coordination. And they are important also in the digital economy, of course, but we could build much more sophisticated digital assistants that help us to create a better situational and context awareness, and also support us in interaction with others to make them more successful, to warn us of lustful interactions, and yeah, basically really to help us set up all those interactions and the business that we might do with others, and also our social activities. And one nice example how digital assistants can overcome cultural barriers is this real-time translation. You would download an app on your smartphone, you talk to it in one language, and on another smartphone it would come out in Spanish or Japanese or Chinese or Arabic or whatever. So you don't need to learn those languages anymore, but you can now better understand other people, and we could build more sophisticated assistants to help us overcome cultural barriers that would act like a tourist guide almost, explaining us how these cultures work, now help us to understand them and also use their success principles, because all cultures in the world are built on thousands of success principles, and we can identify them, we can operationalize them, and we can combine them in a new way to come up with better solutions to the problems that we have in the world. I call this the Culturepedia project. But of course, our economy is now in a fundamental transformation process. All jobs are breaking away. Some people say maybe 50% of today's jobs will be gone in 10 years or so. And the question is, what will be the new kinds of jobs? And I see these jobs, for example, in creating the post-carbon or low-carbon economy that we need to build. We need to engage in reducing the use of resources, reusing them, recycling them. That means build a circular economy. That will be a challenge, a great challenge. Of course, information and knowledge production will be highly important, creative work, personalized products, and now we can actually establish our own company and sell our products and services worldwide with 3D printers and other technologies that allows us to produce at home and anywhere in the world. Network thinking, of course, becomes incredibly important, in particular in the sharing economy that's now coming up. So altogether, we could say that our economy will be composed of two parts, kind of the old material economy that makes money on economies of scale and rationalization. And then we have to build this new digital economy that creates that 50% of jobs that will break away in that old economy. So we have to reinvent half of our economy, but it will be there, and it will be based on information and on co-creation. And this world works in a different way because sharing information can make it more valuable. There are no principal limitations really to value creation in this world. So once we have created the framework for this, everyone can be doing better. And for this, we need to create an information, innovation, and production ecosystem. It requires interoperability such that existing products and services can be combined to form new products and services, and that requires openness, right? Open data, open source, open innovation, for example, or some variation of this. And that's why we have decided that Nervousnet would have all those features, right? So you can take the code, you can modify it, you can add to the platform, you can produce data, you can use it, your friends can use it, your colleagues can use it, you can build your own apps, your games, your services, whatever on top of this platform. Co-creation really is at the heart of all of this. And then finally, I'd like to build with you and that new Nervousnet community around the world this Finance 4.0 system. The important point about this digital economy that's now coming up is that this is really not a zero-sum game. If I want to have more, I don't have to take it away from somebody else, as in the material world, which always creates conflict. No. Information is not limited, and the ways of using information too. So how to get from that situation, which I call the digital desert, where there are a few big IT companies like Google and Facebook and Amazon and Apple, and then in particular in Europe there's not much big stuff around there, so we are probably living in this kind of situation. How do we get that situation into something like a digital ecosystem, like a rainforest where there's an abundance of resources, a large diversity, and opportunities for everyone? And yeah, so what we need to do here is to build a new finance system where basically money would be created in a bottom-up way. Different kinds of currencies that value social engagement, ecological engagement, and all other things that people actually care about. That money would be created in a bottom-up way and it would eventually raise to the top, but there would be a continuous money creation. And that can now be built. Bitcoin has shown that, actually. And we could use that kind of underlying technology, such as blockchain or similar variants, to build this new kind of financial system, which I believe would fix a lot of those problems that we have with our financial system, with our economy today. And so let's do this together. And in fact, President Obama seems to agree, because they're announcing a nation of makers. So this bottom-up movement of open innovation is really becoming important to attack the problems that the world hasn't been able to solve in the past. And that's why we're having such a Nervousnet Hackathon. So welcome to this hackathon. Thank you for working with us on this vision and your own vision, because you can use the system as you like. Like to mention that there will be prizes actually for the best solutions that you develop, and all those other people out there in the world that might send us also solutions, so-called axons. We get the support for the prize money and also for the food outside from the Institute of Science, Technology and Policy here at ETH Zurich. Thank you very much for this. And we're also getting it from the So Big Data project. That's an EU project that's trying to open up data for everyone's use. So, thank you very much. With this, I'm handing over to my experts, my team, that will introduce you to the technical details. I hope you will have a great time, have a lot of fun, and we'll spread the word. And after this event, you would stay in touch with us, and also, go on developing solutions along this vision and your own vision. The event goes overnight. For those who want to stay, there are opportunities for this. And tomorrow, I guess around 12 o'clock or so, we would start with the presentations of your axons, right? And these are the apps, or the Internet of Things apps that you will be developing. And you will have about 3 to a maximum of 5 minutes of time to present this to us, and then there will be a prize jury to determine who will get a prize. So at the moment, the idea is to have prizes that go up to 1,000 Swiss francs, So it will be first prizes, potentially second and third prizes. We won't award every proposal, but so a little bit of competition should be there, I guess. But they're attractive prizes, and I hope you will take one of them home. Thank you.